Welcome to this module, A3 Problem Solving for Healthcare. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with our module interface. When you're ready, select the next button to continue. In this module, we'll show the importance of observation for lean process improvement within a healthcare environment, describe the A3 report as a healthcare problem-solving and communication tool, demonstrate how the Plan, Do, Check, Act, or PDCA cycle is an integral part of A3, and explain the concept of going to Gemba. We'll also walk through the steps for completing an A3 report, including key questions to ask at each stage, and discuss what makes a good A3. Too often, when an improvement team is faced with analysis and problem solving in a complex process, procedure, or treatment, it will turn to time-consuming reports that are full of technical details, business and medical terminology, and data analysis. A more efficient approach, however, is a powerful and critical lean tool called visual management. In a lean process, the manager's job is to see the process, see progress, and see problems. Visual management makes this possible. A good visual management system enables management to see opportunities for learning and improvement that are aligned with organizational goals. Next, we'll explain how to apply visual management to the problem-solving process typically found in a healthcare environment. The A3 report is a single-page presentation of a problem-solving activity. It takes its name from the European designation for a sheet of paper that is approximately 11 by 17 inches in size. The principle behind A3 is that everything you need to know about an issue or problem can be captured on a single sheet of paper. The A3 report was developed by Toyota to teach people to communicate with as few words as possible using visual aids. This means that information and data about a problem must include only the critical and visual information needed to communicate, collaborate, and reach consensus about the process, procedure, treatment, or problem being observed. In other words, everything the team needs to know about the process, procedure, or treatment is contained on this one sheet of paper, which serves as a key communication tool throughout the project. Although A3 forms can vary, they contain some basic elements. This is a typical A3 format. Click each of the sections shown to see examples of typical questions for each phase. Before we continue, let's take a moment to test your knowledge of the information presented so far. Select the next button to continue. Please select the best answer from the list below. That's correct. Please select the best answer from the list below. That's correct. Is this statement true or false? That's incorrect. A problem-solving process called Plan, Do, Check, Act, or PDCA is embedded in the A3 report. Developed by W. Edwards Deming, it's sometimes referred to as the Deming cycle. Let's take a look at the 4 phases of the process: Plan, Do, Check, and Act. The team begins with the Plan phase. During this phase, the team identifies and analyzes the opportunity or problem and plans a change. Next, the team moves into the Do phase, which is to test the change. Here, the team will carry out a small-scale study and develop and test a potential solution. In the Check phase, the team reviews the test, analyzes the results, and identifies what has been learned. During this phase, the team measures the effectiveness of the solution and determines whether it can be improved in any way. In the 4th and final phase, Act, the team implements the improved solution in full. If the change did not work, it will go through the cycle again with a different plan. If successful, the team will incorporate what it learned from the test into wider changes. It will also use the lessons learned to plan new improvements thus beginning the cycle again. As you can see here, the A3 format includes the PDCA process. The A3 is designed to ensure the team has a thorough understanding of the current situation before it moves into planning. Before the team can start the PDCA process to implement changes, it must first define the problem, identify root causes, and determine countermeasures. Now that you understand the basics of the A3 form and the PDCA cycle, let's take a closer look at the problem-solving process. In any successful problem-solving process, it's critical that the team defines and solves the right problem. One of the most serious errors a team can make is thinking it knows something concrete about a situation without having direct, precise knowledge. In our healthcare culture, there is often a sense of urgency to solve problems quickly. This leads to hasty decisions and solutions that don't fix the root causes. In problem solving, an important step is for the team to observe the actual procedure, treatment, or process. This brings us to an important philosophy called going to Gemba. Gemba, a Japanese term for actual place, describes the place where the value-creating work happens. It's more than just the patient waiting room or ER. It's the setting in an area or organization where individuals are creating value for the patient, members of the staff, and hospital administration. Improvement happens only when the team directly observes the actual procedure or process and the current conditions where the work is done. This can't be accomplished from a desk or conference room. It requires actual observation. To go to Gemba is to discover the truth. In other words, go to the ER, go to the operating room, go to the blood bank or histology area, go to the patient's room, and observe what is actually happening. Write down your observations and the time of day. A3 is not just a form for a team to fill out. Indeed, Lean and A3 thinking are about learning to see the procedure or process. Next, let's look at an example of a problem-solving process to illustrate how the A3 thinking process is used. In our example, after numerous Gemba visits, personnel interviews, and analysis of the current laboratory testing area, the improvement team determined that delays in specimen turnaround time began immediately after reorganization of the clinical lab department. The laboratory layout had been rearranged into individual work areas or silos that optimized individual performance. However, this caused significant delays due to underutilized and overutilized equipment and excessive technician station-to-station travel distance. This was determined by conducting a work area time and motion study that identified actual technician travel distances and time. In addition, the team found that the medical supply storage area had become disorganized and was not maintained to assure supplies were available when needed. The team utilized several Lean Six Sigma tools to document the root cause analysis, such as a spaghetti diagram of the lab area to document the current state and define the desired changes, a current state value stream process map, and numerous photographs. The team also conducted a 5S Kaizen for the specimen preparation lab that involved the medical technicians and the new lab department leadership. Here are some helpful guidelines to remember when using an A3. 1. Don't get hung up on formality. A handwritten A3 is just as effective as a computer-generated one. In other words, it's okay to get messy. 2. Get the message across. Be sure the A3, with the PDCA, tells a complete story that a person with a reasonable understanding of the process can follow. 3. Use the A3 as a primary form of communication. Use it to control meetings and lock down agreements. The biggest mistake you can make when using an A3 is not grasping the situation. This happens by assuming you know what the problem is without seeing what is actually happening. Assuming you know how to fix a problem without finding out what is causing it, or assuming you know what is causing the problem without confirming it. And where do you go to grasp the situation? The Gemba. Click on Questions to see a list of helpful questions to ask regarding the PDCA process. Here is the completed A3. Click on each section to see a larger version of that section. When you're finished, select the next button to continue. Before we conclude this module, let's try some practice questions. Is this statement true or false? That's incorrect. The problem statement describes the pain or symptom experienced by the patient, staff, administration, or customer, which can be an external customer or the next step in the process. It must be clear and concise and not contain any speculation as to causes or solutions. Its purpose is to focus the team on the deficiency and communicate the project's significance to others. The current condition section should also include any visual tools that can help communicate the significance of the problem. Because the space in this section is limited, however, only necessary diagrams and data should be included. Some examples are shown here. As you learned earlier, A3's purpose is not simply to document the problem-solving process. It should also communicate the results and serve as a basis for discussion and analysis among the team and the stakeholders. Once the team has defined the project and current condition, it can ask several questions to help determine whether everything has been considered. Click on Questions to see a list of questions that can help the team grasp the situation. Is this statement true? That's correct. Please select the best answer from the list below. That's correct. Please select the best answer from the list below. That's correct. Congratulations! You've completed the content portion of this module. You may use the map function to review any of the topics we've covered. Click the next button to register this completion or launch the post-test if available.